Hey, what's up? This is Raleigh, and another tool I use when I am troubleshooting indexing issues in Google is the Pingdom website speed test, or just website speed testing in general. So the first thing I'm going to do here is type in our test domain here, legosinmylouis.com, and click test now. And so it's as easy as that, putting your domain there and searching. Notice the URL for this site is tools.pingdom.com, or you can just search for Pingdom website speed test, and that'll work too. It takes a little bit of time here, and it tests from like a different location each time. So you kind of let it do its thing, but that'll finish up here shortly. Sometimes it goes quicker, sometimes it goes slower. I'm going to go ahead and pause the video while we wait for that. All right, and so it finished just shortly after I paused it, and it's telling me that the performance grade is a 95 out of 100, and that our website is slower than 75% of all websites tested. So one thing to do is to make sure you always take that with a grain of salt. I tested this same site yesterday with the same tool, and it told me it was faster than 84% of all websites tested. So you can only take that with a grain of salt. Testing at different times of day from different servers, you're going to get different results a lot of the time. I happen to know that this is being hosted on a shared or grid style hosting, which is not the best. So it looks like what actually took the most time might have been the server response time. So you can see a waterfall of everything that loads here when the page loads, and so that's like something similar to what a crawler might experience from Google when it hits your site. And so you want to be able to check here and see if there's any inefficiencies, any errors, anything like that. And so down here we have 4 tabs with the tool. And so we have the waterfall, and then we have our performance grade, and then our page analysis, as well as the history. And so if you have an account, here, and don't just use the free tool, you can track this stuff over time. And so that's kind of what I'm getting at, is you'll get different results at different times from different servers, but that's not all that much important right now. So basically what we want to look at is the performance grade and see what's attributing to our score. And so we get a couple of items here that aren't at 100, and so we want to see if there's any way that we can fix those items. Luckily here, nothing's in the red, and so that might be something that you definitely want to put some attention on, and might be having a greater impact on how your website is getting indexed in Google and how the crawlers are viewing your site. And so this is just always a good test to run and pay attention to. One other thing is, while you're performing improvements for getting your site to index better, it's also wise to spend that time on website speed improvements as well, because as you implement those, this stuff kind of takes some time for Google to come back and recognize it, and website speed is a ranking factor. So anything to do with Google's search engine results pages and indexing, website speed is a factor. And so what I usually do is I'll run this one and take what I can from it, see if there's anything glaring. This one doesn't really got much glaring besides this statement, which I told you to kind of not worry about too much. But we also want to use the other speed test tool just to kind of take both of them. And the other one that I recommend is the Google page speed. And if you actually just Google that, Google page speed, it'll come up. I think it's called Page Speed Insights. Yeah, and this is what I'm talking about. And so if you go and type in our sample URL there and click Analyze, it will go ahead and do the same thing where it runs its test or whatnot. And this tool, I would say, even more you have to take with a grain of salt. The things that's pointing out are more of just guidelines more than rules, and I've seen plenty of sites perform very well that come up red here on after the test is run. So don't get overly concerned if yours is red. You'd be surprised how many sites out there are red. But the thing that's glaring here, which wasn't pointed out as much on the other report, although I'm sure I could have found where it also pointed it out on that with the pingdom tool is the optimized images. So it's pointing out all these images. If we notice, the homepage is a very image heavy page, and so it's saying we can get up to a 45% reduction in load time, or increase the speed of the site by that much. And so basically what I would recommend is using a image optimization tool or process and re-uploading those images, or changing how you do that going forward. And so Google's going to want to serve fast sites, sites that load fast on 3G, on mobile. So it's important to pay attention to what it says here. Cool. So I'm not going to spend much more time. This is more of one of those things that you just want to check. It will sometimes highlight something that is, none of the other tools identified. So it's just a good thing to do. It doesn't take much time. And if you have the resources to try to address some of these issues while you're fixing your indexing problems, it's only kind of in your best interest to do it while you're in there. So thanks for listening. That's the website speed test tools I use when troubleshooting indexing issues in Google. And I hope this was helpful for you. Thanks.